Hello, everybody. We're back at it again from the crispy. I'm just kidding, but back at it again with Villain Deku. So basically, what happened last episode was simple. You know, All Might got a letter finding out that Melissa Shield was not dead. Surprising, but dead and corrupted and whatever. So he found out about that stuff, and he's glad that she's not fully evil. That's all he's glad for. Second thing is, Deku's making moves. He's making a lot of moves lately, and they are pretty intimidating. Stealing a lot of shipments, a lot of this, putting the heroes on question. But now he's setting his sights somewhere else to test out a new machine. And what is his new machine called? Bloody Rose. And it has the brain of Nana Shimura. Yes, it does. Pretty twisted of me. I know. Really am. Thank you. Thank you for all the compliments there. Anyway, now enough of me rambling. We'll get into the episode right about now. Then she wakes up. Who is it? Well, someone who's regretting all her life choices up to this point. Some may say she's really being forced in this case. And yes, it's obvious. Melissa Shield. And luckily for her, her evil self is asleep. So she gets to control her body. It's a weird experience, letting someone else pilot you. But hey, it happens. But she's now walking around the corridors and trying to find a way to basically snitch out the location. But she knows Deku has been keeping his eye on her a lot more recently. It's almost because he expects something that's gonna happen. So when she's walking around, she tries to act like her evil self. Is it working? Well, she assumes so. So far, no one stopped her. Not even her, Venture counterpart, the other evil one. Whatever. Melissa Shield so far thinks that she doesn't really care. She doesn't really know anything about May. All she knows is that she's a crazy inventor that's been working with Deku for how knows how long. But really, she does not care right now. She just wants to escape. To be free. Not be controlled. So, before she can even do anything like that, she needs to figure out a way to remove this evil side of herself before she can do anything else. Because, number one, if she does something and then the evil side wakes up, she's gonna wake up and then fix the mistake. So that's why throughout everything she had to be really sneaky, even in the previous moments before that whatever base that was gonna explode. Before her evil self set it up to explode, she changed one bit of coding where it only blew up the robots, and that was it. Luckily her evil self is not brilliant like her regular self, which she can gladly agree with that, at least. And either way, this is what Melissa Shield is thinking. Oh my goodness. How am I gonna figure out a way to, get rid of this? Maybe if I can make a neural type machine that messes with the mind? Oh, but I gotta be careful. I don't want to actually make myself brain dead. But is that even possible? To remove something from the brain? You never know until you fucking try, right? Oh, God. Starting to swear now. Oh my goodness. This is getting harder and harder to not lose my mind to this thing. Although I do feel bad that someone had a bad day. Deku, at least. He put it all on us to fix all these broken toys of his. And so what? I'm so surprised that he's even letting us touch any of his whatever these things are. But mostly he's letting May touch things that I wasn't allowed to touch when the evil side of me wanted to mess with that stuff. I guess he's letting on that I'm not fully evil and that there's a bit of good in there. I guess he doesn't like the bit of good at all. Sigh. Oh my goodness. But hey, I think I have an idea now. It's simple. Really simple, I think. Just make a device that could try to get rid of her, I guess. Or at least get her out of my mind. Yeah, maybe that'll work. But maybe I can use the other crazy inventor to help me with this and make up a lie to say that it's for Deku to help him be able to brainwash people more easier. Yeah. Sounds more like a brilliant idea than me trying to figure it out on my own. But man, I have to have a very high deceiving here. Really have to put on a show just to get this to work. Then, that's what you guys got to hear of her thoughts. Yes, she truly is struggling with this because, number one, she has to pretend to be evil, but, well, she can physically act evil, but emotionally, it's very difficult for her to, play the part as a villain. For example, if she saw, for example, Villain Deku beating someone up, she would not like that at all, and it would, give her away pretty quickly. But right now, well, Deku's not doing anything evil or villainous, so he can't really, she can't really, she can't continue pretending that she's evil outwardly, but internally, she hates it, and if she saw it, she would try to stop it instantly. So she's taking small blessings as they are right now, because, well, it's just how she has to be for right now. But as she continues walking, she finally runs into May, and the little psychopath that she is right now says, "Oh, Melissa, what are you doing up so late?" And that's when Melissa says, "Oh, I had a brilliant evil idea that I think you will want to do with me." And then that's when the evil May, her eyes sparkle because, well, a new idea that she never did before, that is unheard of to her. So she leans in and says, "Go ahead and tell me what it is." So Melissa Shields says, "Well, simple. Well, we never could ever, because I just thought about it, we could make a device that makes it more easier for Deku to brainwash people much more faster even, or better yet, to make them forget things or change their personality. Think of all that interesting stuff about that." And after Melissa Shields says that to May has the most big, wicked grin of all time. She looks excited about this. So she says, "Wait, really? I never thought about that until now. You know what? You're a genius. You know what? No. We're both geniuses. Because, in the end, our boss brought us together. So, hey, that's why we make what we make, right?" And freaking Melissa just looks at her, very shocked how 180 that May went. Just how fast that May went of her response. But she says, Melissa says, yeah, we could definitely do that. But how are we going to start? Then after that, a few days later, secretly, Melissa Shield has been messing with it behind May's back. In all honesty, they've been working with each other for a good amount of time, that she doesn't really hate May. Yes, she's wicked, and yes, she does evil things, but it does look like she does care about Melissa in so many ways, to the point of where she is nice, because in the end they work together for the obvious person. But, she still can't agree with any of this. She's forced to do all of this. But, hey, what you gonna do, right? But besides that, she continues on her idea, Basically, they work very hard on it. And when they do get it to work, and, actually use a test subject, which is like a small animal or something, like a bunch of them too. There's like a lot of dead animals, but still, they get it to work. And before, May was going to tell Deku about it, Melissa knocks out May with what? Well, with a chokehold. So, she's behind her, choking her out. And she's asking, why? Why are you doing this, And Melissa can only say, sorry, but you need to go and nap, you little crazy. And, that's when May's just out cold. And what does Melissa shield do? Well, kind of lets May drop to the floor. Even though she feels bad about it, she had to. Way too heavy for her to pick up. But still, she sits in the chair, pushes the secret program, and activates the device on her head. And then that's when we're cutting away to another point of view. We're cutting to the hero's point of view of, all of this. Still trying to figure out where evil Deku is, or, the Mechanist in this point of view. They're trying to figure out where he could possibly be. Looking at maps, using certain heroes' quirks to try to figure it out, and such. But none of it has worked. None of it has worked yet. Because they have not technically fully tried everything yet. So that's when Sir Night-Eye has a idea. Why not use his quirk to see the future of one of the machines returning? It's gonna be more easier than what you guys done so far anyway. And besides, yes, I know me and All Might had beef for a while, but at least we talked through it. And since we're all here, why not do it and find out where this bastard is? On top of that, Nezu, he did take one of your students, hostage? Controlled? I can't really tell. And I honestly feel bad for All Might because he basically had someone who he treats like a family member, taken and put in this evil guy's hands. And that's when Nezu says, I understand that, but we cannot rush this. We have to plan it. Because what I noticed about the Mechanist, he is more smart than we expected. Literally, the last base that we try to go to just to, go in there and brute force it with a barely plan, he planned for it. And if All Might's, I'm just going to say it, All Might's family member, I guess, didn't have a bit of good still in her and, didn't set up where it's just like, freaking some of those robots got destroyed instead of the whole thing, a certain whole block in Japan wouldn't exist, would it? So, we should actually plan this out more, I feel like. Because in the end, I don't want to be tricked like last time. And besides, we don't want all of us to be, dead this time around, But still, whatever, I guess. Then the heroes have more of a discussion about this planning and, banter back and forth like usual. But this is basically their plan. They have an idea to use Sir Night-Eye's future vision, but on 3 different days, because, it only works on one day, and to also find 3 different machines and try to find 3 different entrances and exits. So then they can try to figure out how big this other complex that the Mechanist has, just how big it is, and to try to cover every entrance and exit as much as possible. And The reason why they're not going to try to capture one of these machines, well, they tried before, but the machine blew up, or the mechanist let it happen where it was, a setup, and they don't want another setup again, or for it to just blow itself up. So this time they're planning more thoroughly about it, because again, they don't want to be tricked. Then we cut back to Villain Deku. And what is he doing, you might ask? Well, simple. Dear viewers, what he's doing, he's actually heading towards the Akuza base. Yes, overhauls men, if you don't remember what they're called. But still, he's going over there for many other reasons. And basically, he's going to make a deal for those quirk erasing bullets. Because in the end, I know for a fact they have not met yet, so unless someone in the comments wants to prove me wrong and say that they met, I know for a fact they did not. And if I'm being stupid, then just let me know. Yes, I put this bit in the video so you guys know if I'm being stupid or not. Anyway, yes. So he's walking to Overhaul's, base. And when he's walking over there, he's having a beautiful time, a beautiful moment. Because in the end, he just feels so smug of himself to feel so powerful when he once had nothing. No powers, no anything. And yet he feels great for himself. Really great. And when he's about to get in there, a little girl with a horn bumps into him. And he looks down, seeing her all scared of him. Why? Well, Deku is wearing something more different than the last time we all saw him. Wearing a very, very scary mask to hide his face. A trench coat with a hood. And, well, a lot more. And it's mostly all black. Besides the mask, which the mask is green. To throw off anyone, really. But he sees this little girl. And deep down, Deku does feel a soft spot for her. Why? Well, this girl reminds him of himself. The day when he had nothing, no powers, no anything. The day he almost died before he met the person that changed his world view. Before, everything. So then he crouches down and says, "What's your name, little one? Don't be afraid of me. I ain't gonna hurt you." Then the little girl looks at him and says, "My name is Eri." And he looks at her as he says, "Oh, well, that's a nice little name. So tell me, what happened? Why are you in bandages and running out here like someone's trying to get you?" And she's about to tell him until Overhaul shows up and he says, "Oh, I see, you got her back for me. Sorry if I'm a little late to our meeting." And that's when Deku sees Eri, shaking, obviously. Deku does not like this at all. Even if Overhaul is a good asset, he will not love anything to do with children being harmed. Why? Because in the end, Deku is reminded of his youth when he was weak, when he was pathetic, when he was looked down upon as trash, and he hates that more than anything else in this world. He hates being used. He hates being manipulated. He hates being put as worthless and useless. So, the moment Overhaul said that, Deku just shoots him on the spot. No hesitation. No thoughts of the consequences. Just shooting Overhaul, and Overhaul leaking a lot of blood. Literally, the bullet went all the way through, shooting through Overhaul's heart. And, he just falls to the ground like a rag doll. Dead, cold, and lifeless. pretty quickly, too. He even looked like he was going to try to use his, quirk, but Deku was too fast for him. So, Deku just walks over, kicks the guy on the, dead leg at this point, says, "Huh, and they call you scary? Wow. Oh well. Hey, Eri, were more of the guys in there more mean to you?" And when he said that to Eri, she just looks at him, afraid, but also not afraid. Like a weird mixture of being afraid of him, but also being happy that Overhaul, the scary Birdman, is gone. But she doesn't know what to make of the situation. As Deku walks over and says, "Don't worry, I ain't gonna do that to you. I only did it to him because look what he did to you. He hurt you when you were weak. He probably lied to you, deceived you, tricked you, right? He probably called you a curse, if I can guess right." And after Deku said that, Eri visibly shrinking on herself, trying to make herself look small, tiny, little, as much as she could. And Deku took that as the sign of yes. Then he walks over, gently petting Eri on the head as he says, "Don't be scared, don't worry. I'll make those bad men go away and never hurt you ever again." Then after he says that, he picks her up and leaves. When he gets home back to his base, he activates, Bloody Rose, his new robotic toy, which has Nana Shimura's voice coming out of it, saying, "What is my objective, sir?" And Woody looks at the machine and says, "Go to these coordinates, to this base, destroy everything, recover the samples, recover any bullets of the eraser type that gets rid of superpowers, and then report back here and, deposit them right on my desk." After that, she gives him a nod, acknowledging his command, and she flies, which we focus on that. She's flying all the way there and does a whole invincible thing. What do I mean? She flies through the fucking building, like full on breaking through the ground. When the Yakuza members are caught off guard from this, they are all just flabbergasted from this. And Bloody Rose just goes in and starts killing, full on dismemberment of everything. Some Yakuza members losing their heads and really bloody mess. Some having their, stomachs cut open and organs taken out. Literally, she looks like she's having the time of her life. And you might be thinking, some of the viewers who were here last episode, it's not the same Nana Shimura. This is completely different. It's for example, it's like putting a different computer chip in a new computer. It's not the same computer anymore. It's something completely different. There might be remnants of your old computer, but not all of it is the same. But besides that, back to what I was talking about. So yeah, she continues her little crusade, destroying a lot of the building too in the process, throwing some of these Yakuza members so hard that some of them are breaking through the buildings and then through the whole building itself. And when they finally stop, it's like a bloody pulp, like a bloody little mess on the walls or wherever she decided to punch them at. She continues walking until she finds some of the files for the quirk of racing bullets. And where did she find it, you may ask? Well, simple. She found it in the room where they still had some of Eri's blood. She took some of the samples and destroyed the rest, setting them on fire. So no one else from this horrible group could ever recreate it. Because in the end, Deku is the only one who should be allowed to make what he wants. And he will take what he wants. Because, this Deku ain't so kind. But she continues murdering almost all of them. Even the tougher ones. Even the one where it makes you be drunk because of, how her mind is. She is somewhat organic, but even the drunkenness doesn't really affect her. Like, barely it does. So, she easily kills that guy. She continues destroying everything of these Yakuza members. And then when she's done, she flies up, going really high up, crashing through the roof, making the whole building collapse in on itself. Just making everything crumble downwards. And just like there's fire everywhere at this point. And she looks so satisfied for what she just did. And I don't mean the same satisfied look that you and I would ever give. More like the satisfied look that she completed her objective. Not what she did. Not what she currently did. Not what she's currently doing so far. No. She just looks satisfied that she finished the mission. Or at least a certain part of it. But besides that, though, she finally flies back to Deku and gives him what he asked for from her anyway. So, she flies back, walks inside the base, and puts the canisters right in front of his desk, like how he specifically asked for. So, when he turns around and looks at her, he has a big grin on his face, and Deku says, "Oh, glorious, good. That is a good metal rose. I am so glad that you were able to do what I needed. In all honesty, this is great for your first test, and I'm glad that none of that pesky heroic stuff, or at least how you usually would normally feel if you were actually the same woman anymore, would have gotten in the way. A real good test. I bet right now you don't even know what the freak I'm talking about, my greatest creation. But it doesn't concern you. But your objective is simple. Stay here, protect the base, protect me, all that junk. But besides that though, I have a third objective for you to do, and that's when I'm going to cut it off, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, the next episode will continue off from there, and you will find out what he was going to say in the next one. But all I got to say to you guys is thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking, subscribing, all that junk. And also, let me know if I can improve my videos more better or whatever. I am genuinely grateful for any of you putting your time or moment just to watch the video and all that. But like I always say, do whatever you want, do whatever you like. Like and subscribe if you want. Go to the Discord channel that I have, which you can get to it from the link from my, YouTube stuff. And there's a lot more you could do if you want to talk to me or if you want to help me make videos. That's all I have to really say. So I hope you all have a good day.